Hey everybody, Mega Ruler 31 back from FSI DFS. Um, going to be covering a massive 15 game, every team playing slate for Friday, 6/18. Third time I did the video, I had a couple technical difficulties. We had some technical difficulty yesterday, so sorry we didn't get video up. But today, in the interest of time, just to get this out to you guys, I'm just going to try to fly through things. 15 game slate, lots of options, couple little concerns. I think if there is a rain out, it would be Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So I'm not really going to talk much about that game. The only other concerns would be the Cubs and the Marlins potentially. But weather looks good other than that. So let's just dig right into pitchers. At the higher end of pitchers, so over 8K, I think Robbie Ray comes in as my favorite tonight. He's only 9.3, gets the Baltimore Orioles in Baltimore, not the Toronto Buffalo AAA Park. So definitely doing well this season. I think there's some strikeouts in the lineup. I think he's the best choice. My second choice might be a little bit surprising. It's going to be Burns, who takes on the Rockies, who have really struggled. I know the Rockies got to the pitcher last night from Milwaukee, who was a decent pick, also in Coors Field. However, I think the umpire, the strike zone seemed to be a little bit small, seemed to extend some bats, some innings, some questionable calls on walks and stuff. So I think that kind of inflated it. I think Burns will be fine tonight against this Rockies team who's in Coors, but still seems to continue to struggle this season. Next up, I think in the high price range, and I think the highest priced pitcher on the slate is Bauer. I'm skeptical on him with the whole crackdown for Major League Baseball on the whole foreign substance thing. So I think that he's one that we see a little bit of the data starting to slip on that. I know he's complained a little bit about being able to grip the ball. He doesn't use it for spin or anything, but just trying to hold the thing. So I know Arizona's been horrible recently. I think they've lost like 13, 14 straight games. They've lost 23 straight on the road. They're back home now. So that helps them a little bit, but I still think Bauer is a good option, but I prefer Ray and Burns above him. The other YOLO GPP play in the high end would be Rendon. Yes, Rendon has had a great season so far this year, but he's pitching at Houston. They're a patient team. They don't strike out much. They're a very good hitting team. He's a lefty, and they have some really good power righties. The thing that really concerns me is he has also complained a lot about the whole Major League Baseball cracking down on foreign substance thing, just like Last Now did. And I really want to see how he pitches without it being such a complainer. You think that he was taking advantage of the rule, so maybe that helped him early on the season. So I'm not going to pay this much money against a really good team for him. If you want to try it in a GPP, because he is a good pitcher and maybe he does have the talent and the knowledge and the control and every aspect that you would need to be successful, but I'm going to let others play him and kind of wait and see on that. Really strong mid-range for pitching today. Barrios comes in as a really great option against Texas. Lots of strikeouts in that lineup. I think he'll do very well. 8.5, great price, good matchup. So I really like that there. Cobb for the Angels is kind of an average pitcher, but he gets the Detroit bump, free swinging, not patient, not disciplined team. Not a ton of power there. So I think he at 8.8 is good. They're a high favorite, negative 217, 5.38 run total. So I think they're definitely will put up some runs also. So I think you can get the win. I think you have 5 strong innings, get some strikeouts, definitely make value and a little bit more for there. The final one in this 8K range that I really kind of like, and he'd be 3 out of 3 here, be Kikuchi. He's been okay this year. He gets Tampa Bay, who has a lot of strikeouts in their lineup. It's a pick'em game, so I don't know if he has the win equity. He could get beat up. Tampa Bay sometimes is a really good team, but he's a lefty, and most of their powers come from their lefties, so it's going to be the righties that go after him. But again, I think he does well. 5-6 innings, maybe the win, but I think he gets some Ks enough, and I think he's fine at 8.6. But again, I'd take Barrios and Cobb before him, and Then for Paddock is also in the 8K range, but I think he's kind of dangerous. I don't know. I just doesn't seem as good this year. He's in San Diego, which is better than if he was pitching against Cincinnati at Cincinnati in the Great American Small Park. But Cincinnati can hit. They folded some games and they've actually come out and fire lots of games. So could go either way. If you need 8-3 is what fits in your budget, then or you want to play him in a GPP, I think that's fine. But in cash, I definitely would prefer Barrios or Cobb Kikuchi over him. Not many low range options, even on this large slate. I think there is one that is in a great matchup, and he will be my SP2 tonight. I'm going to take Max Fried against St. Louis. Yes, I know St. Louis is primarily only a right-handed team. There's some good right-handed power hitting bats there, but I think he's got control. He's only 7-7. The Braves are in a good matchup to batting wise against the opposing pitcher and Carlos Martinez. So I think they'll put up some runs. So I think he gets through 6 or 7 innings, gets some strikeouts here, gets the win, definitely in a good spot. So I think my pitching combination is going to be Ray and Fried tonight. And then the only other one I'd like to take a flyer on in GPP is Zach Thomas against the Cubs. They strike out. Their lineup's kind of banged up. Again, just have to watch the weather here. But he's a good young pitcher, and I think he might not go super, super deep, but I think 6-6, he'll get enough to pay off his salary. So stacks for tonight. I think the top 4 stacks are not in Coors Field, and I'll explain that in a second. But I think the top stack tonight is going to be the New York Yankees up against Caprillion of the A's. I liked him when he first came out, played in the first couple games, and then he seemed to they've got a book on him, or he's a little bit more predictable or something. But and DK has a price at 9-1, which just seems way too high this evening. But I like the Yankees against him. I think they're starting to come together and get healthy and get guys back. So definitely like the top of the lineup. Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, Urshela had a home run last night at a really cheap price. Odor. So they might have some other guys in because Torres got injured last night. So that might open up for like Tyler Wade, who's a lefty, who is only 2.8. So there's some good cheap options there with the bigger bats, and nobody's over 6K, so not a super expensive stack. Next, I'd take Minnesota against Texas, and Fulton-Evich. I'll take both sides of the plate here. They have Areza leading off. Potentially, he's a contact hitter, not super amount of power, but he's only 2.7, so that works really well in the stack. Gets you a second baseman. It might be sometimes hard to find. Donaldson and Cruz are the only ones over 5K, but not by much. Larnish, Polanco, Kuroff, and Ben Roltevich. Again, I got to watch a Twins game to figure out how to pronounce his name. But the catcher at 2.4, really like him here, and I think that's where I'm going to plug him in as my catcher, either he or the Toronto guy who's also 2.4, and then there's a Seattle guy that's 2K. So if at least earmark 2.4 for salary, then that gives you like 3 or 4 options in case one of these guys is not in. So speaking of Toronto, I really like them in this matchup against the Orioles. They get a lefty. They're primarily right-handed lineup. Hitting great. Vlad might be one of the best plays on the slate. He's been super hot. Zimmerman's not a horrible pitcher, but I think they can definitely get to him. Prefer it would be in the Toronto Park, but I think Camden Yards, there's enough chance to hit there. So I think they will do well. They've got a 5.35 total. And then the Angels, I think, are my final stack that I really like tonight. Up top against Urena, who really can't throw strikes. I think he's like single digits, and we're talking low single digits in a game. Not really blowing the ball by anybody. So Ohtani's a great play, and I'd just take any Walsh. And you could probably take the rest, Upton, Rendon, whoever else you want to pair in here. They've got a 5.38 total, which is really nice also for the day. So let's talk about Coors Field. I think Milwaukee, I almost consider them a value stack because they're not priced for Coors, and they have struggled a little bit too. So I think that's some of the pricing, but these guys are all in the 4Ks. Urish 4.4, Vogelbach's 4.5. Yelich is 6-1. He's the highest priced one. Garcia 4-6. Narvaez 4-6, which a little higher than I want to pay for a catcher, but he fits in the stack. But Adames, I like 4-4. Go down at the bottom. Peterson, Jackie Bradley, they're 3-6, 3-2. And definitely a great affordable stack tonight. And I think they're going to be my primary stack that I use paired with Ray and Fried. If you do that, it leaves you about 3 if you use the 2.4 catcher and you go 1 through 6 here, like Navarez, I'd skip him. You can use him as catcher, but my primary stack, I'm going to go Urias, Vogelbach, Yelich, Garcia, and Adames, and that leaves you third base and outfield and about 3.15K, plenty of money to fill in the final 2 spots and make a great lineup. So the other side, Coors or Colorado against Burns. GPP. Burns is a good pitcher. Their bullpen's okay too. I just don't really see Colorado. They only have a 4.33 total. I don't even know if they get there. Maybe they put up 4 runs. But I think the umpire was the factor last night. So I really think Milwaukee's the side to take in this one. But again, I like the other 4 stacks just as well. Atlanta is a good GPP stack, but super expensive. That's why I'm kind of off them. It's just even hard on this 15 game slate to take one-off batters. I'm not even going to mention San Diego as a stack, but Tatis has been hitting hot. But to take him at 6K as a one-off, it's just so hard in this slate. But anyways, Almonte continues to be cheap at 4-4 or at 2-4. But if you want Acuna and Freeman, you're paying 6-3 and 5-6 up there. LB's at 4-6 is reasonable. Swanson, Riley, if you figure out them. So I don't know. I like them in their matchup against Carlos Martinez. He's been kind of reverse split, so I kind of like the righties better than the lefties. But honestly, I'll take anyone there. But GPP only because you might have to make some concessions at pitcher to make a stack work there, or really take some low punts in your other positions, like some guys that might not work out or might get zeros. San Francisco continues to do well. They're against a righty. They can throw out an all lefty lineup. Yastrzemski's starting to hit the ball really hard and really far recently. Belt, Crawford, love them there. Continue to like Boston also. They get a young pitcher in Kansas City. Maybe somebody else will be coming. Maybe it'll be an opener situation. Not sure. But definitely like them. Prefer the lefties here and Verdugo and Devers. So I don't know if Kiki will lead off. If it's a right-handed batter, it might be one of the switch hitter guys up there. We'll see. They vary this lineup quite a bit. So see who's in, but they make a good GPP stack. The YOLO stack, I think, would be Houston. If Rondon has been using some substance and now he's afraid he's going to get caught and he's not going to be pitching well, or he's going to use it as an excuse, but Houston's a good hitting team. I think they may have McCormick like batting up like second. He's like super cheap. So I think if you want to take a chance, they have a lot of righties and he's a lefty. So, but Brantley even hits like lefties well too. So there's so many great plays in this Houston lineup if you want to take them at GPP. Low total just because the pitcher they're facing, but I think there might be a stack that could win a tournament tonight if some of the other ones that are favored don't go off. Then some cheap pieces, Miami and Pittsburgh. I know you have all the other teams out there like the Dodgers and San Diego. Just tonight, I'm just not as interested in them and just such a huge slate. So pretty much just to recap, Ray and Fried are my favorite pitchers. I'm going to take them, a Milwaukee stack in cash and a 2.4K catcher, and then fill in third and outfield with you have a little bit over 3K for that. So that's the lineup build for cash I'm looking at. But the middle range is really nice. Berrios, Cobb, Kikuchi, Burns, I can make a case for if you want to play him against Colorado. But paying 10K in Coors is kind of a little bit risky. In Bauer, I feel the same thing about. He's the most expensive pitcher on the slate, but I'm just worried about the whole crackdown. And he's got a great matchup against Arizona, but I'd rather pay down a little bit and get some more bats in. New York, Minnesota, Toronto, and LA are definitely my favorite stacks of the night. Houston is definitely a YOLO GPP one who could be in a good situation against a good pitcher if he comes out and fails. And then, like I said, Coors Field is out there. Milwaukee's really cheap. Colorado, you can play them. It's Coors, but I really like Burns as a pitcher. San Francisco, Boston, Atlanta, some cheap bats if you want to pull from Miami and Pittsburgh would be a fine too. So appreciate you watching. Thanks for viewing today. And if you want to see tomorrow, we should have 2 videos because it's going to be a split slate. So we'll cover it early and late. So if you want to know when our videos are coming out, just subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, give us a like. That helps other people be able to see our videos out there. And then also leave us some comments. We love engaging with you guys, answering questions, trying to help you guys out. Like I said, it's a huge slate. A lot can happen with like scratches, pitchers could change. COVID's still a thing out there too. Not much weather concern, but you never know. So if things at time of this video seems pretty straightforward, but a lot can change in different situations when lineups come out. So leave us a comment, hit me up on Twitter at BaggerRuler31. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.